Hello friends and traders. In this particular video, we'll be looking at how to read the Forex Factory calendar. So just as I mentioned earlier in the previous video, this is where most of us traders come to check, for fundamental analysis, or come to check the news that could impact the market, right? So which news release is coming at what time, and then we are able to make decisions based off of that. So this is the general homepage. If you want to find that, you can just come to your Google search bar and then you type in forexfactory.com. Make sure to be at the calendar section, as you can see here. So as it looks now, it looks very cluttered and you might get confused, right? So the first thing to do is to come to this side here where you have the filter. Click on filter, and then over here you can see what you can take and take what information that you want displayed, right? So depending on what you trade, the particular currencies that you want to trade, then you can just select or deselect. So obviously you have your US dollar on, so you just take and take whatever it is that you want to trade here and what you don't want to trade, right? So these are for currencies. And then the first folder or docket that you have here is the gray one, which stands for bank holidays, right? So if you want to know when there is a bank holiday, you can have this on, but I'll be taking that off. So the yellow docket or folder contains news that does not impact the market, right? Even though it's called low impact news, honestly, from experience, I find that it does not even impact the market in the least. So I'm just going to have that unticked, and I'll leave the orange docket and then the red docket as well. So the orange docket also doesn't mostly impact the market, even though it is supposed to be a semi, how do I put it, the red docket news is what really moves the market, right? So we'll be getting into that in a bit, but I'll leave the orange and the red on, right? So let's see how it goes. Now moving on to the very last thing in this filter section, and that is the type of news event, right? So whether it is unemployment or growth or bonds, mostly, or just leave this side, right? You want to get information on everything, and then you apply what time period that you want the news to be in. If it is today's news, if it is tomorrow or next week, you can just select that and then you click on apply filter below. So after applying all the filters, now we find that our calendar page looks a bit more clearer, right? So this is where you have every information. If it is this particular news, let's say we are taking the CB consumer confidence news, right? So the time is going to be 2 p.m. and you just come and click on this little folder here, and then you get every information about that news. So the source is the Conference Board Incorporation. So you have the usual effect being that the actual is great. When the actual is greater than the forecast, it is actually good for the currency, right? So it tells you even how to apply this news, and then you go to the release date or the frequency of this news, and you see that it is released monthly. The next release date is going to be 26th November 2024 as at the time of recording this video. And just everything you need to know about this news in particular. They even give you the reasons why traders care about this news. You can also read that and apply it. Now, another very important aspect about the Forex calendar is where you have the forecast, the actual, and then the previous, right? So this is a section that you should pay very close attention to. So take a look at the September news release of this particular news, right? You see that the actual was actually lower than the forecast, and according to the effect, the usual effect, they say that when the actual is greater than the forecast, it is good for the currency. So you can imagine that there will be depreciation of price, right? The price of that currency, which was the US dollar, is going to fall because of this news right here. So you know how to trade USD XSS pairs, right? So this is how to apply the news. You pay close attention to the actual, the forecast, and then the previous, and then you work your way around it. Now, I just want to say that trading the news is can be very risky, very risky, especially high impact news. So you should always try to practice more before actually taking live trades using the news events, right? I'm talking about the NFP, I'm talking about the CPI, and FOMC and co. So this is basically it. Most of these other things like the graphs and co, you may not use it very much. Just make sure that your technical analysis is aligning right with your fundamental analysis or whatsoever the news on Forexfactory Calendar is telling you. So an example is that after doing your technical analysis and then you are looking for bullish sentiments, right? Or you are looking for buys in a particular chart or on a particular market, you can just come back to the news. That is, if there is a high impact news during that period, and then you see whether it actually aligns with your technical analysis, and you can go for that trade.